Ecosystem Exchange is the podcast series by T6 Ecosystems that explore different themes shaping our world. Each season spotlights a new focus, bringing together experts for engaging discussions. Through this exchange of ideas, we promote a sense of intellectual exploration, interdisciplinary collaboration, and actionable insights. Welcome to Ecosystem Exchange, a podcast by T6 Ecosystems, where we explore the intersection of research, innovation, and real life. I'm Simona De Rosa, partner and researcher at T6 Ecosystems, and I will dive you into this conversation. In these highlights, we are joined by Salvatore Custureri, researcher at T6 Ecosystems, talking about PartArt4OW and Waters, and T6's role in shaping the project. This builds on our previous conversation in the podcast dedicated to the project. Salvatore holds a PhD in international law and has completed advanced training programs at institutions such as the Hague Academy of International Law and Master in International Public Affairs at Luis Guido Carli University. He also has collaborated with various organizations, bringing his expertise in international and social projects. Salvatore is a speaker at international conferences, contributing to discussions on disinformation, media literacy, and digital governance. Welcome, Salvatore.
Hello, I'm Salvatore Custureri, and I'm a researcher at T6 Ecosystem. Following the previous episode, where Antonella Passani, our head of research, explored the role of art, science, and civic engagement to tackle pressing ocean and water challenges across Europe within the PartArt4OW and Water project, together with Professor Chiara Certomà of Università di Roma La Sapienza, that is the project coordinator. Today, I will deep dive into T6's role in the design process of the PartArt4OW and Water Open Calls. So, let's begin with a quick reminder. PartArt4OW and Water, Participatory Art for Society Engagement with Ocean and Water, is a transformative EU-funded project running from 2024 to 2027. Its mission: to bridge the worlds of art, science, and civic action in order to foster stronger public awareness and care for Europe's water and ocean. It's part of the EU mission, the larger EU mission, Restore Our Ocean and Waters by 2030, and therefore is fully aligned with the UN Decade of Ocean Science. But what makes it special is how it empowers artists, scientists, and activists, and also communities to come together and co-create what we call Participatory Arts Initiative. And here, where the open call come in. The first call for Participatory Art Initiative was launched to identify and support 19 of these initiatives that use art to spark civic engagement, raise water literacy, and mobilize local community around specific environmental challenges. Each selected initiative received funding, mentorship, and visibility and access to learning and exchange opportunities. At T6, we led the co-design sessions that brought together marine scientists, artists, activists, and community stakeholders. The objective was to ensure that the call text, the application materials, and especially the challenge framing were clear, inclusive, and in tune with our shared mission. The central theme we defined was to engage in local communities for protecting and restoring marine and freshwater ecosystems and biodiversity, with a special focus on unseen phenomena, such as those related, for example, to climate change, or those that cannot be seen because we are too disconnected from the oceans to perceive its changes. Along with this, the interdependencies between environmental, social, and cultural systems. This framing wasn't just theoretical, it reflects T6's broader mission to blend co-design, citizen engagement, and socio-technical innovation. We applied our expertise in stakeholder mapping, participatory methodologies, and socio-economic impact assessment to embed T6 core value directly into the call. These values can be summarized in inclusion, so particularly inclusion of underrepresented communities such as refugees, LGBTQI+ groups, and low-income families. Sustainability through circular solution and climate-neutral practices, and of course, a fair and supportive structure. With 50,000 case of euro disbursed in 2 installments across a 6 months accelerator phase that includes boot camps, mentorship, and expert guidance that are perfectly aligned with our blended research and innovation support model. Now, to ensure meaningful community engagement, we knew that hosting workshops or events wasn't enough. That's why we decided to prioritize initiatives either led by or deeply rooted in local and marginalized community. Moreover, every selected project had to commit to using climate-neutral materials, reducing carbon emissions, and signing on to a broader climate pledge. And let's not forget, artists, scientists, and civic leaders often speak different professional languages. So during our co-design phase, we created a shared vocabulary and tools for mutual understanding, so collaboration could happen more smoothly. In the end, this was a balancing act of synchronizing rhythms, merging evaluation cultures, and building bridges across disciplines, while keeping equity and sustainability at the core. Now, let me share with you a few key figures from this first call. We organized 2 online webinars and matchmaking sessions with more than 200 participants joining, and yes, the recording is still available on the project website. We publish, along with the call, a guide for applicants that must help the applicants to organize their submission, and a section on frequently asked questions, updated continuously to reflect real questions coming in via email. In fact, we answered over 60 frequently asked questions based on the best practice we learned from other projects like Impetus project. The response, and I have to confess this, was truly overwhelming. We received a total of 437 submissions, more than double of our original KPI of 200 proposals across the 3 calls, just 1 call. Of these, we reviewed more than 380 proposals, and each proposal was reviewed by 3 independent experts. We finally shortlisted 21 for the interviews, and ultimately 6 initiatives were selected in this first call to arrive at the end of the 3 open calls of the project to fund 19 projects. These engagements show just how vibrant, motivated, and diverse the community around participatory art and ocean care really is. But to conclude, what I would like to highlight is that by funding art-led engagement, building creative capacity, and fostering collaboration across Europe, PartArt4OW is a project that is not just raising awareness, it's reshaping how we think, feel, and act towards our oceans and water. A second open call is going to open in a few days, and we are already excited to expand the network and deepen our impact. So, if you'd like to learn more about the open call or the project itself, please visit the official PartArt4OW platform, and thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening to this highlight of our ecosystem exchange. See you in the next episode.